Hi everyone and welcome. Oh, hey.
Hey Gavin, I've been hearing a lot about AI tools for C# and .NET developers.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. How those tools can provide developers with superpowers. I'm actually going to provide a practical demonstration in this video. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the way developers approach problem solving, and C# developers are no exception. With the rise of AI-driven tools, automation, and machine learning capabilities, C# developers can supercharge their applications and workflows. In this video, we will explore how AI can enhance C# development, covering key tools, frameworks, and practical applications.
Right, I better take a dump. I'll see you later.
Oh, too much information.
A brain dump, Gavin. I need to write all this stuff down before I forget.
Okay, so let's start by looking at how we can use AI tools to boost our productivity. So in this little demo, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code and GitHub Copilot to create a sophisticated UI in minutes within a Blazor project. So first thing to do is generate our Blazor project infrastructure. So we're going to use the .NET CLI for that. So .NET new Blazor -0, and then let's give our project a sensible name. So Blazor test Copilot. Press the enter key. Excellent. So it's created the infrastructure for our Blazor web app project. So you can see here within the root, we've got Bootstrap, for example. We've got all the CSS files appropriate for Bootstrap there. And then within components, we've got our pages. So we've got the counter page and we've got the home.razor page here. Excellent. Let's clear the screen. I just want to quickly run you through what extensions I've got installed, so that you can follow along if you'd like. So if we go to the extensions tab here, you can see we've got GitHub Copilot Chat installed, GitHub Copilot installed, your AI pair programmer, and of course, we've got the C# DevKit extension installed. Great. Okay, so let's kick off this demonstration. So what we actually want to do here is generate a Blazor code based on an image that we're going to send to GitHub Copilot. So the image that I've found online is this one here. And it's basically an image denoting a facility for an employee management application where users can perform CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete operations against employee data here. So we're going to be using GitHub Copilot Vision to generate the Blazor code based on this image. So what it does is it analyzes the relevant image and then it generates the relevant Blazor code. So let's see how we can apply that using GitHub Copilot. So let's go to GitHub Copilot Chat. So we open chat like this here, and then we can enter our prompt here. So can you create a UI? Can you create Blazor code with employee data for a UI based on this image? And then we need to send an image along with our prompt. So we can do that by dragging the image onto the chat box here like this. Okay, and let's try that out. So let's send that prompt to GitHub Copilot by pressing the send and dispatch button here. Excellent. Okay. Right, so I just want to point out that I was in ask mode here, and we actually want to be in edit mode for that. It's generated the correct code, and we could just copy and paste that, but I was actually in the wrong mode. So I'm going to put that into edit mode. Yes. And I'm going to ask it the same thing. And you can see here we can actually choose whichever LLM we want to prompt by selecting the correct LLM from this drop down here. And I'm going to select GPT-4 for this. So I'm going to try that prompt again. So can you create the Blazor code with employee data for a UI based on this image? And then we do the same thing. And then we can just drag and drop that onto the chat box here, and then click the send button. And hopefully it should write the Blazor code to our home.razor file. Right, so it selected the file we want, and it's generating the edits that I've asked it to generate through the relevant prompt. Excellent. So it's generating edits there. %98 finished with applying the edits. Great. And so it's generated the edits that I've asked it to do. So the green highlight indicates the changes to the file, and the red highlights here are what was existing in the file before applying the edits or generating the edits within the file. So to keep the edits, that looks good to me. It's created the code. It's creating a collection of employee data based on an employee model here. And then it's looping through that employee data and generating the appropriate HTML code for our CRUD functionality. So I'm going to hit the keep button here to keep that code. Excellent. And I'm going to Control S that to save it now. Okay, so let's go into the current directory for our project, Blazor test Copilot. Press the enter key, clear the screen, and let's try to run that. Okay, got a few warnings. Okay, so it looks like it's been able to compile that without a problem. I mean, the code looked correct to me when I looked at it. It's got a few underlines here that those underlines seem to be red herrings. They're not legitimate errors because all of this code looks correct that has been generated by Copilot. So I'm going to run that now within my browser. So we've copied the address where it is listening. Enter key, and look at that. It's generated that for us. And how long did that take? Hardly any time whatsoever. So that gives us a fantastic starting point for our little CRUD application. And how long did that take? It just literally, we uploaded an image and it generated the code for us, the Blazor code for us based on this image here. So let's try something else. Let's try and add this profile picture to each item in the grid, just like as a placeholder, just so, for example, we could be working with a designer and the designer says to us, let's generate more code so that we can see what it will look like to include an image within that grid. Okay, so I'm going to edit with Copilot and ask GitHub Copilot to include an image placeholder within the grid. So I'm going to go, can you include a placeholder image for each employee item in the grid? And let's see what that does. Okay, and it's included an image tag, alt employee photo, for each item in the grid. So let's keep that. And then all we actually need to do is just include an appropriate path for each of for the image. Okay, so what I'm going to do is create an images folder here. Images. And I'm going to copy the profile image that I want to include within the grid to the relevant folder here. All right, let's go to our code. I'm just going to rename this to just profile pic. Name's a little bit strange there. Okay. I'm going to copy that there, go to home.razor, and let's replace this path here with images / and then the name of our image, and it's a PNG image. Okay. Okay, so let's run our code. Great, and it's listening at this URL. So let's copy that URL to our clipboards. Let's go into our browser. There. And that doesn't look great, but it has included our profile image within each of the employee items. So the next thing to do is to ask GitHub Copilot to format that image a little bit better. Can you format the profile pic for each employee item so that it is thumbnail size? Let's see what it does. Okay, so it's generating the code for us. And let's see what it's generated for us. Okay, so it's created appropriate CSS inline styling for us to answer our request. Okay, and let's go keep. And let's save that. I'm just going to run that code again. And of course, we should really be using hot reload for this. It would be a lot more efficient. But we'll look at hot reload in another video. Let's go there, and here we go. Perfect. And it's answered our prompt correctly, and we've got an appropriate sized profile image, appropriate for this particular grid layout anyway. Excellent. Let's go out of that, and the next thing we want, let's say we're not entirely happy with that layout, and we want to include each of the employee data within its own card. So let's prompt GitHub Copilot, can you include each employee item within its own card within a card deck? Right, let's see what that does. Okay, so it's generating the code edits for us now within our home.razor file. Gives us a nice little progress indicator here. And let's go keep. Let's save that and let's run our code. Okay, and it's of course the same procedure. This would obviously be a lot more efficient if we were using hot reload, but we'll do that in another video. Enter, and that doesn't look wonderful at all, but it has kind of done what we asked it to do. Right, so let's prompt GitHub Copilot to include at least 3 cards on each row for us. So that would be great for a mobile application, but on larger screens that doesn't look great. So let's clear the screen here and let's prompt GitHub Copilot again. Can you include 3 cards per row? Let's see if that's all we need to include for that prompt. It's a very basic prompt. Great, and we can now review our code and then we can apply it using the keep button here, if we so choose. You can see it's got a card deck there, MT3. It's applied a number of styling related code to the various elements. And let's see what it's done for us. So let's keep that and let's run it and see if we're happy with what it has produced for us. Let run. Okay. Same procedure. Let's copy the URL to our browser window, address window. And there we go. And that looks okay. So it's done a fairly good job based on what we asked it to. It's kind of cutting off half the employee's head here, so maybe we can do something about that. So let's just ask it to fix that for us. Can you make sure the profile image is displayed in full? Can you make sure that the profile image is displayed in full? See if that works. It's all about trying things out. Okay, so right, in full by removing the object fit style. I mean, that's quite remarkable. That's exactly what needs to be done. And set a fixed height. So that's really, really amazing what it's done there. It's understood my very simple prompt and it's applied the code correctly. Very impressive. Okay. Right. So let's keep that and save the changes. And same as always, let's run the code and see what it looks like in our browsers. Okay. It's going to be interesting. Okay, and it's fixed it for us. And that is very impressive. I'm actually quite impressed with that. Okay, and the last thing, let's include a hover effect for each of the cards. Can you apply a hover effect for each card? And let's send that off. Hopefully, it creates our hover effect for each of the cards. Wow. Nearly there, and it's okay. And there you can see it's created a class called Hover Shadow. So I want to know where it's actually put that class, where it's defined that CSS class. There it is right there. Okay, so Hover Shadow : hover, and that's details the effect. This code, the CSS code, details the effect that should be applied when the user hovers the user's mouse pointer over the relevant card. So let's save that and we need to keep the code first. So we hit the keep button. Let's then save, Control S, and I'm going to run that code. .NET run, enter. Right, and let's launch that code in our browsers to see if it's indeed done something useful for us. Okay. And there we go. It's done a nice little hover effect for us. And we can just play around like this forever pretty much. So you can see how excellent this is just for prototyping or working with a designer to iterate on the design and basically get to a point where you agree upon a design before creating loads of functional code. Let's look at a general overview of AI technologies available to enhance our productivity and creativity as C# and .NET developers. But before we do that, if you are liking this video so far, please hit that like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. And please don't forget to ring the bell so that you'll be notified of future content. If you'd like to thank me by buying me a coffee, you can do that at my Buy Me a Coffee webpage. It will of course be greatly appreciated. I really love reading your comments, so please feel free to include a comment. Please let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on AI-assisted development? Please share your experiences and tell me what you think. All comments are welcome. Your insights are always greatly appreciated. It would be great if you followed me on X. My username is @GavinLonDigital. General overview of technologies available. AI-powered code assistance. AI-powered code completion. Tools like GitHub Copilot and IntelliCode can suggest entire lines of code, improving productivity and reducing errors. Automated code reviews. AI-driven static analysis tools such as SonarQube and Deep Code can analyze C# code to detect vulnerabilities and inefficiencies. Error prediction and fixing. AI can predict potential runtime errors and suggest fixes before execution. AI for testing and debugging. Automated testing with AI. AI-driven tools like Test Complete and Microsoft's AI-based testing solutions help generate test cases and automate testing processes. Intelligent debugging. AI-assisted debugging can analyze error logs and suggest possible root causes, speeding up troubleshooting. AI-enhanced development workflow. AI-powered DevOps. AI can optimize CI/CD pipelines, automate developments, and predict failures before they occur. AI for documentation. AI-powered tools can generate and maintain documentation by analyzing code and suggesting explanations. Future of AI in C# development. AI-generated code. As AI models evolve, they may generate complex code structures tailored to specific problems. AI-driven architecture design. AI could assist in designing scalable and efficient software architectures. AI-based decision-making. AI-driven insights can guide development strategies, enhancing software development life cycles. So, conclusion. AI is an invaluable asset for C# developers, streamlining coding, enhancing application capabilities, and optimizing workflows. By leveraging AI-driven tools and frameworks, C# developers can unlock new levels of efficiency and innovation, staying ahead in an ever-evolving tech landscape. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope to see you soon. Thank you, and take care.